Welcome, welcome to everybody. Welcome to the audience which is looking online, and thank you for watching us. And welcome to the participants. I will present you one by one, so thank you for being here. My name is Silvia Casalino. I am the executive co-director of the ELC, the Euro Central Asian Lesbian Community. We are an NGO and we are fighting for lesbian rights. So we gathered today because we want to present the results of an EU-wide research, which is called RESIST, and it's about the anti-gender movement. And we would like today to connect it with the political reality, the current political reality, and also to connect the results with the impact that those narratives have on the countries all around Europe, and of course, specifically maybe for Hungary. So welcome, Kath Brown. Thank you very much for being here. You are a professor at the University College of Dublin, and you are also the coordinator of the project Resist. So my question is very simple. Can you present the project and explain us a little bit about the results?
Certainly. Resist sought to counter anti-gender mobilizations by understanding, firstly, what they are. And it's important to think about what exactly is anti-gender. These are organized and targeted attacks on sexual and gender equalities. They're anti-feminist, anti-LGBTQIA+, and anti-our rights. It's not limited to the far right, and and it happens in liberal democracies as well as within authoritarian regimes. The key aspect of anti-gender is that it's an opposition to sexual and gender rights, and it makes our lives controversial. So Resist sought to examine this by looking across 12 contexts, including the EU, and working with a team of interdisciplinary researchers to understand anti-gender mobilizations, their impacts, and how to challenge them. We began by looking at almost 200 parliamentary debates, thousands of articles from media sources, and then looked at key controversies to understand how they were emerging. In order to understand the impacts and resistances, we looked at 254 people's experiences across Europe of anti-gender mobilizations, 40 feminist queer collectives and organizations about how they were resisting these, and we also spoke to 30 experts in the civil society arena. What we found overall is that anti-gender actors claim to promote and defend democracy, but actually attack gender and sexual equalities, which is not democratic. These mobilizations do this through parliamentary debates, through court cases, through attacking organizations and individuals, targeting them through the media, as well as in policy and courts. They seek to make gender and sexual equalities controversial. So things that were once seemingly settled or understood as finished, they seek to make them something that needs to be debated, something that needs to be challenged, often through individuals' lives, making these things something that it comes to or can be contested. The research shows that anti-gender actors and narratives are present across the political spectrum. And this is really important because they are spread across all countries that we studied and are not just sometimes it's associated only with certain regions or certain areas or even certain parliaments. And that is not true. All of the contexts in which we studied had anti-gender actors. The European Parliament is a central feature of our research. It's both used as a place to make anti-gender statements and create and reiterate anti-gender narratives. And Brussels itself is used as an enemy that is sought to be fought against in its promotion of gender and sexual equalities. So it recreates a nationalistic understanding of gender. And it seeks to challenge sexual and gender equalities, challenging democracy for all. Anti-gender discourses and politics cause concrete harm. They cause harm to individuals and organizations who are seeking to work with some of the most marginalized and vulnerable people in our society. They take resources, they take the ability to create funding, and they challenge the ability to produce and to support those who are marginalized through the creation of services. They also affect people's daily lives. They create environments that are arduous and at times unbearable. There are physical, verbal, and online attacks of individuals and organizations, and these cause significant harm. Organizations then have less resources because they're dealing with these harms. These include severe violations, sometimes amounting to crimes, and although all these activities, and through them all, they undermine European democratic values that they claim to defend. However, I don't want to finish on the negatives, because our CSOs, our civil society organizations, our activists, politicians and others are doing fantastic work to resist and contest these anti-gender mobilizations. And our research found collectives, communities and individuals really striving to both challenge these anti-gender mobilizations and to create better worlds. And I hope we will hear from some of them now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Kath. Now I would like to give the floor to Melissa Camara. Melissa, you are a French MEP from the Greens. Thank you very much for hosting us here. And as Kath was mentioning, and as we heard, the European Parliament is not immune from those narratives. And so the question is, from your perspective, how does this narrative show up in political spaces, and also then how those narratives impact or increase the attacks on equality and on democracy all around Europe?
Yeah, effectively, that parliament is fully, it's not immune against the anti-gender narrative. And maybe to put the landscape, it's really a particular legislature, because we have three groups, far-right groups in that parliament. And at the same time, we have a really strange movement, but we see that everywhere in Europe. The right, is looking at the far right, and the right is following the far right agenda. And they are really present. They are present in what I call the committees of values, in the FAM committee and in Libe committee. They have a clear agenda. They are attacking sexual and reproductive rights. They are attacking migrants. They have a clear narrative. They say that the European patriarchate doesn't exist, that it's a problem of migrants, of Islam, they want white ladies to go back to home and to do white babies against the great replacements. And so they are really present in those committees. They are present also in that parliament, in the debates. And you spoke about verbal attacks. For example, I was attacked by a far-right MEP who asked me during a debate on the Pride in Budapest if I will come in the Pride and in the parliament with a muzzle, as the LGBT people are doing, And the parliament and the president of that parliament didn't react. So they are present in the debate, and they try, to push us out. And they are present also by hosting events here against transgender women, against migrants, against abortion. Every week we have events here. And so, we see that strong narrative, that strong anti-gender narrative, and they are well-found, and really connected within Europe. So, to be clear, it's hard, but what we see, and to be positive also, there is also a strong resistance from the progressives in that house, but also a strong resistance of the civil society. And the victory in Budapest, with that huge pride. And we see the resistance also everywhere on the ground. The civil society is really present against illiberal regime. They are really present. The feminist civil society, the LGBT civil society, is really here against autocrats. And I know that we can have a huge victory, and I will speak maybe about my voice, my choice. We had that historical victory because we created those links between civil society and the progressists in that parliament. And they showed us the path, actually, to have those kind of victory. So let's do this, and let's, push back the pushback.
Thank you very much, Melissa. Thank you. Now I will pass the microphone, the floor, to Vicky Radvani. You are the president of Budapest Pride. After 16 years, Orban is gone. So the election in Hungary are a powerful reminder of the fact that authoritarianism is not an irreversible thing. And also, just yesterday, we had the judgment of the EU Court of Justice, declaring that this so-called anti-LGBTI propaganda law that were passed during the government of Orban are not in line, contrary to EU law. So the question for you, of course, is the news now about Hungary. The question for you is in two parts. Maybe one part will be where and have been the impact, the contribution of the civil society, the citizens, the NGO, the movements, included the Pride, to make this big shift happen. And then the second question is what happened now, and what should we do to change this democratic opening into real change for human rights in Hungary.
Thank you, Sylvia, and thank you for having me. To understand what happened in Hungary in the past 16 years, we need to understand how Viktor Orbán became this poster child for autocrats. And if we take a look at what Viktor Orbán has done in the past 16 years, firstly, he stole about 50 to 100 billion euros of public funds. He systematically broke down the freedom of judiciary, the checks and balances, the freedom of the media, and basically eviscerated his political opponents. This created a space where Viktor Orbán could build up an image when he made people believe that he is invincible, that he will stay in power forever, and this is what autocrats do. And what this resulted in is poor governance. Of course, if you are stealing enormous amounts of public funds, both EU and Hungarian public funds, you are taking it from somewhere. Viktor Orbán turned the country into the most corrupt country within the European Union. Every fifth Hungarian child is now in poverty, and the education and the healthcare system is destroyed. And this is why his political opponent, the newly elected Prime Minister of Hungary, has run on these issues mainly, on the horrible state of public services and reinstating democracy and rule of law. And while autocrats are doing it, of course, they need deterrence. And this is where anti-minority or anti-gender narratives come into place, because maybe your child needs an ultrasound or some kind of examination in the hospital, and you need to wait 8 months for your child to get the proper examination or the proper treatment. But if your government is bombarding you with anti-migration, anti-homeless, anti-Roma, anti-women or anti-LGBTQ messages, that can take shift and attention away from the real problems at the heart of the country. So who remained when nobody could challenge Viktor Orbán? It was the remaining independent media, investigative journalists, and civil society, everyday people. And it is quite shocking to see that Viktor Orbán frames himself as a patriot, because I think there is no patriotism in destroying your own country and turning your own citizens against each other. who are the real patriots? Are average people, grassroots movements, civil society organizations who took up the task of confronting the government, on organizing protest or organizing dissent, on drawing attention to the injustices and the human rights violation, even when we were facing persecution, smear campaigns, cutting of fundings, and enormous attacks on our democracy. And I think everybody who stood up against this regime can be extremely powerful and can be extremely proud of themselves for doing so. We needed resilience, we needed adaptation to survive in this horrible situation. And you know, in the past week, many Pride organizers were stopped on the street of Budapest, for example, and everyday people were coming up to me and saying thank you for organizing the biggest demonstration in Hungarian history, which was the Pride last year, for defeating the Pride ban of Viktor Orbán. Many people view this historic Pride as a milestone in disassembling the Orbán regime, and what this historic Pride taught us. And remember, the Pride ban is still in place, and we need the new Hungarian Assembly to implement the CGU core decision to get rid of the propaganda law, which gets rid of the Pride ban as well. But politically, the Pride ban was dead. Because even though that we were threatened with jail time, financial fines, facial recognition technologies, we brought 350,000 people to the streets, and they were unable to stop us. And it was not just the power of the LGBTQ community, which was enormous, but the power of everyday Hungarians who learned that we have the power to stand up against autocratic regimes with peaceful, non-violent action. We can actually show that they cannot impose oppressive laws on us. We have the power to stand together and to defeat them. And this message is powerful because it takes apart the foundation of what autocrats are telling you. When autocrats are telling you that they are invincible and the system can be never changed, and you show up with your pride flags, with 350,000 people, you show it to the whole country that we, the people, have the power and not those who are imposing these laws on us. This was the historical takeaway for me of Budapest Pride and of the Hungarian elections, and we are really looking forward to having a real system change and not just a government change. So now the ball is in the court of the new assembly in Hungary, who must swiftly implement this Court of Justice decision. Péter Magyar, the new elected prime minister, made several promises to reinstate freedom of assembly and to implement EU court decisions. And this needs to happen quickly because Budapest Pride is within 2 months. I really believe that the new prime minister politically cannot afford to have this Pride banned. As we said, minority rights are often in the center of autocratic politics. So whether Hungarian democracy can be rebuilt will be viewed from the viewpoint of vulnerable minorities. It cannot be judged by the elite. Many criticized the 1989 system change as a system change that in Hungary was mostly constructed by the elites. It was called the lawyers' system change, and many people felt left out. 1 million people lost their jobs after 1989. We expect this newly formed government to construct a real system change when oppressed people, vulnerable minorities are also part of the conversation, and the LGBTQ community must be in the forefront of rebuilding the democracy.
Thank you very much, Vicky. Thank you. I think I would like to make a small kind of conclusion, and then we are stopping maybe the live. So from what we have witnessed during the last 10 years with the work of the ELC, the Euro Central Asian Lesbian Community, and from what is coming out from the Resist project results, there is a strong impression that the anti-gender is strongly shifting their focus towards pretending that they are protecting democracy. They are the one that protect democracy, they are the Democrats, and etc. So what we would like as an NGO to underline is that democracy is not the dictatorship of the majority. and that being in power, have the strength to be in the majority does not allows you to do anything. By consequence, I think that, as you were saying also, Vicky, it's a very clear indicator of the state of the democracy when there are attacks towards minority. It means that the democratic atmosphere is weakening around in the country. And this is the main reason why very often only minority, especially minority, including sexual and gender minority, are the ones that are pushing back on this weakening of the democracy. So I would like to conclude by maybe saying that in this moment, especially when we have the impression that some consider or are trying to impose the rule of the stronger as the new world rule, we need even more to protect equality, to protect minorities, and to protect EU values. So thank you very much for following this live, and thank you,
Thank
and
you.
see you very soon.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.